And now it's time for
Coffee Talk.
Thanks to EFB, Britt B, and Ash C. Get to
spill the tea.
I changed that up a little bit.
I like it.
Yeah, okay. I just kept, listen, I was on a roll. I figured, why stop now?
I know.
Anyway, lots of stuff to talk about today. Lots of stuff in the social media news world.
Yeah, or just the news in general, you know.
Yeah.
Like, because we have done an exceptional job, and by we, I mean Michelle McCormack.
Yeah, I was like, I really haven't, but yes.
She has gave us the complete news of the talk of the town right now, which is the proposed gun range.
Yes.
We have gotten both sides of the story, starting with the opposition meeting that took place over the weekend at the Ambiance, followed by the city council that took place Monday night.
Yep.
Where the city council was more of the proponents for it, I feel, because a lot of the youth trap shooters showed up for that. The Ambiance meeting was a lot of the neighbors who are in opposition of it.
Yeah.
So, you talked about it a little bit on your minutes with the mayor yesterday, and you got the facts from the mayor herself.
Yes.
Along with Jason Parrott, who is brilliant.
Yes.
Love him.
Well, he knows what's going on because he has the skinny on zoning and, potential setbacks and potential opportunities here.
So if you missed Minutes with the Mayor, check it out.
Make sure you check it out.
Right now you are hearing
Opinion based.
our opinions, which thank you, EFB, for allowing us this tea.
Giving us the platform.
I will let you start with your opinion on the matter.
Okay, so I learned a lot after sitting down with the mayor. Prior to sitting down with her, my gut reaction was, I don't have a lot of skin in the game, but I understand the concerns from the neighbors. Having pets, I know that my dog gets freaked out over sounds. Okay, so that would be my biggest concern. I can handle a little noise pollution. I'm not saying a little meaning that I know that it will be a little. I'm just saying I'm not as worried about myself as I would be about like my animals being freaked out constantly, because that creates anxiety in the household, right?
Yeah.
So I understand the concerns of the neighbors. It's not something that I would want in my backyard. And we just had this same conversation about a storage unit. So it would be very hypocritical of me to be full force with this project. That being said, although this project, I believe, is what prompted the city to look at buying this property, I don't think it's the only proposal out there that they're looking into. So although we can say that we're very against a trap shoot facility for those neighbors, but we're for it for the city of Quincy, which is where I stand, I don't know that that's 100% going to be the development that happens there. So I want to make sure that all the information...
the city does have to decide whether or not they're purchasing the property or not by this Friday, as you're watching this Wednesday.
Yes.
Doesn't necessarily have to have the plan in place, but they do have to decide this Friday. And that decision, I think, obviously is based on the proposed plan. There will be a meeting Thursday at the Oakley Lindsay Center at 6 p.m. as you're watching this on Wednesday to go have your voice heard. So I want to start my opinion with what you just said, where you said, I don't really have skin in the game because I'm not out there.
I don't have skin as a neighbor. I do have skin as a taxpayer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to make that very clear for anyone that's saying, well, I can't really say one way or the other because I don't live out there. You do have a say. Yeah. You are a Quincy taxpayer, and a lot of this is being proposed to potentially help the taxpayer. I also think, in every instance when we say, okay, we're going to alleviate this from the taxpayer, it might just be a sell because we're always looking to add more. We always need more.
I think we're always spending more money. We're always looking at, and I can't say I disagree with people that are like Quincy should not be in, the city of Quincy shouldn't be in the real estate or land investment game. But after listening to the mayor talk, she said, we want to have a little bit of control over what happens at that property.
Yes.
So is that a good or bad thing? I don't know. Also, do we stand to lessen our burden as taxpayers in the future by having some skin in this game as a city of Quincy? I don't know. I mean,
regardless, on Friday, they decide whether or not they want to purchase the property as a city. If the city decides not to purchase that property, then the developer, Trevor Beck, has the opportunity to purchase it outright and do whatever he wants with the property, correct?
Because it is zoned
industrial.
It is zoned industrial. So I think that by having the city buy it, I think it's more of a partnership between the developer, whether it happens to be Trevor or someone else, and the city of Quincy, and there will be a little more control over what's allowed to be out there. However, that also puts some of the burden on the city of Quincy as far as infrastructure.
Yeah.
But a lot of that can still be negotiated depending on the type of development and the developer, and how the city moves forward with the land purchase.
When people say, like, push it further out of town and away from residential area, one, like you just mentioned before, it is zoned industrial.
Yeah.
So I want to push back on the fact that, like, you talked about the storage units in your area and you would be hypocritical. I beg to differ because
Because it wasn't zoned.
this is zoned, that what you're referring to is zoned agricultural residential.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, we were talking about this in the past. Our zoning needs to be relooked at because with the naked eye, you can see out where you're living is no longer an agricultural place. They've used like that, what was agricultural land, and developed very nice neighborhoods and housing. So like that needs to be relooked at because it's the naked eye. We can see this.
Right.
The industrial zone of where they're proposing this is still industrial. I understand that some people, like, you know, they're saying 200 houses are within the 1 mile radius. A mile is a big radius when it comes to, you're talking across the street. They're talking a mile.
Yeah.
I think that, so I did a story recently with Chris Wags and the Quivering Clays, which is the youth trap team that shoots out at the Northside Boat Club. I didn't know much about shotgun shells and bullets myself until I did this story. When they were like, aim it at the bridge, I'm like, well, that seems kind of sadistic.
But it's buckshot, so it just kind of like,
so if it doesn't hit
disperses.
something, it explodes at a certain point of, you know, so you're not going to have bullets flying where your kids play, like you were saying. I understand the concern because as a parent, I would think the same thing.
Yeah.
But that's just not how these bullets work.
Yeah.
And then
I think there's just a lot of misinformation, and maybe not even misinformation, maybe just a lack of understanding how this is, what it looks like. Obviously, I think there needs to be more convincing from the city's perspective.
My next thing is with the noise, like you said, with the dogs. My dog is petrified of storms.
Yeah.
We can't control the weather. We built our house in a industrial, it's actually the enterprise zone.
Yeah.
And I understood that when building there. As did, I think, a lot of these people that built their houses or moved in around the area, or maybe you should have done your research. Yeah. You have to, like, protect yourself. Anyway, so I live in this, on a bluff where it's between the Southside Boat Club and the Northside Boat Club.
So can you hear
both of which shoot trap, both of which it's on the bluff, so it echoes. That gunshot sound is 10 times your decibel sound that I heard in the video or what Trevor Beck was saying with his decibel test. I know some people are saying, well, there's a difference because of the volume behind it. There are 6 people shooting at once. I don't know, I guess, maybe I'm misunderstanding, like, the volume to which your outdoor one. I thought it said, like, 10 proposed at once.
I think there's, like, 25 proposed bays. Some inside, so maybe, like, 6 or so inside.
Regardless, my sound amplifies. And I wrote in the story, you know, on Saturday mornings, hearing that, like, shotgun shell ricochet off the bluff is, to me, therapeutic, but it's home to me.
Yeah, I think it's, obviously, if you've not...
I also live by the train, which is right by the river.
So do they, yeah.
So do they.
Yeah.
The train sounds way louder than these bullets.
Yeah. I think it's just something that, you know, you don't have this in your backyard right now. I don't blame them for not wanting it in their backyard tomorrow. I do hope that we can come up with some middle ground because I do think that it would be great for Quincy.
So this is my next point. Compromise in all of this. Yeah. So under our story, I highlighted a couple of people's comments. I won't use their name out of
privacy, I guess,
Sure.
that you did put it out there. Somebody said, my grandson just competed in a trap shoot in Florida with very strict time limits of shooting because it was next to a golf course.
Okay.
Sounds similar.
Uh-huh.
I think it was a 5 p.m. deadline. I think there could be compromises made if everyone just takes a deep breath and listens to each other.
Yeah.
I know that I don't know if there are time limits on the boat club ones because honestly I hear it from like 8 in the morning till whatever at night on the weekends. On Thursday they have leagues. So again, it doesn't bother me, but it's a difference, and I can understand the difference. This is within a field.
Yeah.
And you're shooting the bullets into the river, and like I said, they told me, shoot it towards there's no possibility to hitting.
Right.
I guess if your kids left their backyard and wandered into the shooting range, there could be an issue there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Another comment that said, and this is something that's interesting. Fun fact, anyone else remember the shooting range in Quincy's south side, very near the animal shelter, also near the horse farm? Just saying, wasn't a problem back then. I know we're talking quantity and volume. The developers offered to move most of the shooting indoors. The Southside shooting range has been a part of the...
Is that the QPD range?
Yeah, it's actually, well, I call it the QPD range. It's actually the PBPA, so the Police Benevolent...
Protection Association.
Yeah, something like that. They've owned it for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember, and so if anyone wants to comment in here, was it a gun range open to the public before the PBPA took it over?
I don't know.
But regardless, 25 years, the houses that are around there were developed way longer before 25 years, and that shooting range is in way closer proximity,
Right.
and I believe that's also zoned residential now. I don't believe they use it anymore, but it's just...
I think the QPD does, don't they?
I'm not for sure on it.
I think they do.
But it's just, perspective on that, in also location, proximity. I get the whole NIMBY thing, and I also respect it too.
Yeah.
Like when people say, don't let NIMBY control your community, what are we as a community if we can't?
There's nothing more personal than your home, and so you have the right to say NIMBY.
Yeah. So I do kind of see, again, I see both ways.
too.
I am very much for this gun range for the fact of the community and the fact that I do believe we can come to compromises to listen to one another. And when you do live in a community and it is zoned something, we got to think sometimes community first to a degree. But at the same time, I see the whole, I think
I'm really hesitant to talk up because I do not want that in my backyard. So to say,
see, it is in my backyard, so I can speak
so you
up.
can. See, I just don't want that in my backyard, and I understand why the other neighbors don't want it in their backyard. So for me to say...
And I do see the power behind the people, is what I'm saying. Like, if this many people are coming together, but then look at the numbers. There are 700 signatures on this Quiet for Quincy thing or something like that. I don't know how many people showed up at the ambiance, but we have Quincy is comprised of, my number is 37,000, even though we say 40. I'm still waiting to see that.
I think it's gone down a little bit.
Yeah, so 37,000-ish. Granted, this would be an area-wide thing. Other points, Macomb has one. They're like a third of our size. Pittsfield, I think, has one. They're like a third of our size.
I want development in Quincy. I want to be able to grow tourism in Quincy. That is
get in, get out.
That's one of my main goals. I don't think we need to grow the population. I think we need to grow tourism.
Agreed.
Get those dollars in here.
Yeah.
Grow our revenue that way so that we're not expanding the need for more infrastructure, et cetera, et cetera. I know there's a little infrastructure that will need to be done with this development.
Absolutely.
But I'm all for development. I'm also for this project. That being said, I also understand the concerns from the neighbors out there. So I'm wishy-washy on this one.
I am
and I
too,
think I'm
like
going
I
to stay
said.
there with it. I'm all for the development, bringing dollars to Quincy. I love things that bring kids together and is something positive. I'm also all about gun rights.
Yeah.
And teaching people how to responsibly shoot. So I'm all for this project.
My last thing with when people keep saying try to push it a little further out, or there's
I
got to be
mentioned
another place.
There are different properties, but
but
it's all the same. You're always going to have those neighbors.
That, and the other thing is, we still want it within the city of Quincy.
Yeah, if you push it too far out, then it's not going to benefit us.
We want the sales tax, that 1% of whatever they're selling out there. Even though food and beverage tax sucks, if it's going
that's
to
what it's
happen,
there for.
If it's going to happen, I want to see the city of Quincy benefit from it, and not necessarily,
someone else.
Yeah, the Tri-Township area, which the way it's zoned, they might have to be the ones. Yeah, so it's
there's a partnership there. There's talks of partnerships there too. It's just I think what needs to happen is the city of Quincy needs to do a better job of not only understanding the project, and I'm not saying they don't, but explaining it to the concerned citizens in a way that gives them peace of mind.
Which hopefully that can happen this Thursday.
If they can't do that, then there probably needs to be more homework, and if they can't give people peace of mind, then maybe we need to look somewhere else for it.
But again, when we say if the city of Quincy decides not to purchase this project, then they have no control over it.
Any private developer can go in and do whatever they want, with or without barriers, with or without, So I'm all for private development. I'm also for bringing revenue to Quincy. I'm also for my friends and neighbors out there.
Same.
I mean, I wish I could.
And be respectful in it too. I made sure I was reading the comments, and there was one concerned mom, and somebody called her dumb, and then somebody who was on, actually Glenn Sanders, who is for it, was like, okay, let's be respectful.
Well, 9 times out of 10, be aware that the people who are being very disrespectful are probably trolls or bots. So don't put too much stock in them.
I don't know. I don't have faith in the
community. Just a little bit of respect goes a long way.
It really does.
A little understanding of what is actually being talked about here goes a long way. But also, your home is very personal, and I respect that you have a right to speak up. So that's where I am with all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, call me wishy-washy. I don't have a...
I feel the same way.
Yeah,
I feel the same way.
It's a tough one.
To tell you the truth, there's a developer going on right now in the area that we have developed. When I say we, I mean myself, my family, and the 4 or 5 neighbors that came into the area where, was realistically, it was a dump site.
Yeah.
And we made it into a neighborhood, and now there is a developer going in there, and it's going to change the whole landscape of things. Obviously, it sucks, and I don't want this to happen, but it's the same, I didn't get to purchase the land around, so I have to think of, I guess, community, and I'm going to hope for the best for my neighborhood. Yeah. Speaking of the best of this podcast is the Good News Brews.
Percolate on some good news.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have it for today, and today I want to highlight John Wood Community College's College for Life. That is a program that helps those with developmental disabilities partake in an education basically for as long as they want. They get to learn life skills that help them, not only develop on their own and live potentially on their own, but it's just a sense of community for them. Right now, that sign up has started just, I think, last week. So if you want any information on it, or anyone that can benefit it, please visit their website and sign up for College for Life. I look forward to doing some stories with them in the future. We did have a story a little bit in the past about the Blazer Cafe. I'm sure that still lives on Muddy River TV if you want to look at it. Also visit the Blazer Cafe that I believe is open on Tuesdays from 9 to 11. It's pretty cool.
It's a really cool program, and to see, the faces light up when
they really do.
They're giving back. They have a sense of belonging, and they deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very, very cool. Thank you, John Wood. Thank you for bringing us Good News Brews. And obviously, lots of controversial, back and forth on this topic.
This will be a talk of the town for a while.
Yep.
Depending on whether or not, I guess, 1, the purchase happens on Friday. 2, if the private developer decides to go on with it, if that purchase does not happen. And like I said before, and one last time I want to mention, as you're watching this today on Wednesday, tomorrow at 6 p.m., Oakley Lindsay Center. This will be a meeting where hopefully all of the city council members show up. It's not an actual city council meeting. It's a little more laid back where they want to hear from the residents, but first and foremost, they want to educate the residents on the project.
Yeah, the project. So I guess if you're involved, and even if you're not, keep an open mind, be respectful. Let's not let this break everybody apart, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah, don't be a hater, I guess. I don't know, but good luck to everybody involved. I'll be looking forward to seeing how this story progresses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Brittany, thank you so much as always. I love that we don't have to have controversy between us.
I know. We just have coffee.
We just have coffee. Thanks to EFB. That has been today's episode of
Coffee Talk.
Catch you next time.